Pranam everyone, this is Mansi. Today we're going to talk about card number 18, Major Arcana card number 18, that is the moon. We talked about three luminaries in the tarot, three cosmic luminaries. You have the star, the moon, and the sun. And they all show us our own character. They all show us our soul purpose, our energy in different ways. And they are all here to give light to us, but in different capacities and in different modes. The star is an inspirer. We look up to the stars to get inspired. They're very distant, but they are observers, and they are reflectors of our soul blueprints. They rejuvenate us. They can fill us with healing energy. And we talked about them, uh, which is why the whole science of astrology, the Jyotish Shastra, is very much based on all these cosmic luminaries, including the stars which make up the nakshatras, which reflect our soul karma and blueprints. Now, the moon, it is has a significance because it is the closest to us, and it is extremely receptive, and it is a reflector. It doesn't have, it's not its own source of light, it reflects light. So it has this quality of reflection. Now, if you remember the card Hermit, the major arcana card number 9 was a hermit whose whose whole energy is directed inwards. He was an intro who has done deep introspection. And now the major arcana card number 18, which is, 1 plus 8 is 9. So after you have done that introspection to find your own light, then you can reflect, then you can share, then you can transmit. So you can see that connection between the hermit and the moon. So always look for such connections in tarot. They will reveal a lot of mysteries. Now, the moon will reflects who you are. It reflects your unconscious. It can reflect your subconscious. It can reflect past life patterns. Um, it and it reflects different things for different people. But basically, it reflects who you are, and since people are different, it reflects different things. Um, and the moon has always captured the poetic imagination, compared to anything else. It turns the blood of men into wine. It's intoxicating. It is romantic. It is extremely soothing. It is, there is, it really, I mean, if you look at any kind of poetry or films, this you will like the moon really evokes, uh, it evokes memories like no other. So, from our Earth, when we look on the moon goes through these phases. You have the new moon, right, where you don't see the moon, and then it keeps waxing, keeps increasing till you have the full moon, and then it wanes, gets smaller and smaller till there is a new moon. And this pattern repeats again and again and again. Similarly, when you have this card, you actually have a unique opportunity to look at recurring patterns in your life that might have been going on for, you know, lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. Sometimes you are stuck in this cycle of being in an abusing relationship and still staying. So that is a pattern. And the moon will show you that, the moon will reflect it and you will be able to feel it. And that can be very disturbing also. It can provide a breakthrough, but it can be very disturbing also. And how to get a breakthrough with moon, I will talk about at the very end. Now, that is why this moon symbol, right, has to be handled with utmost care. Because now for Buddha, the three three most significant points of his life happened on a full moon day, right? In fact, it happened on the same full moon day of the year, in different years, but it was the same full moon. And that is because if you take the example of when Buddha, if you ask people who are doing psychology, or who are dealing with psychiatric patients, they will say that full moon night is the hardest for all these patients. That is how the word lunatic comes. It comes from the word luna, which is the moon. So full moon is like, it can wreak havoc in a person who is emotionally disturbed. Because think about it, moon exerts its own tidal forces on our biggest oceans. Oceans are emotions, so, and we are what, 80% water. So the moon also has this pull on us, on our emotions. Now for Buddha, he did not have he did not have he had already worked all his unconscious issues, all his subconscious issues, he could see his whole past lives, right? Even back to when uh, he was not even a human, he could see it that far back. So for him, the full moon reflected his Buddhahood, and he instantly, and that's when he got enlightened. But if you have a very heavy unconscious, then it is going to create that disturbance in you. And now the one thing I'll say is that the people for whom you draw this card, or the people who are very much like this card, they also have the ability to pull other people's emotions. um Now these people can be like the full moon, where they are very they have this, how you feel with the full moon, it's extremely romantic, and you are charmed by the emotions, you're intoxicated. But then it could also be like the waning moon, where as they go down, they'll take you down with them. So, or if they are disturbed, then they will, like, that whole atmosphere will get disturbed. So that is also one of those qualities of the moon. The other thing about the moon is, in moonlight, you cannot see everything very clearly. You can see, but you can't see it clearly. So there is an illusionary aspect. You may not be, you think it is X, because in that light you can't see. And then you think, oh, it might be a mouse, but then it turns out to be, something else. It's maybe you know maybe a different animal or something. You cannot see clearly, and then you make an assumption, and it might turn out to be wrong. So there is some illusion. Sometimes it is also associated with deception, because the moon is like full, but this is how it appears. So some people might appear different than what they are. The For me, right, one of the real things that you have to be careful with the moon card is that when you get the moon card, right, there is a lot of psychic intuition available. These people have a lot of instinct. They might be even reading the situation, be having very strong intuition, psychic senses. But the thing is that their knowledge is not complete. See, the sun is different, but in moon, their understanding is not complete. Their observation is not complete. And and they don't know that usually. They think they know, they can see it all, and they don't. So that might create a problem. If you look at the rider Waite, you see this crayfish coming out of your water. Now crayfish is like your animal, your unconscious nature. um it is like it can also be if you are really drawn to the moon and all, the moon can reveal what was your animal nature. It can reveal the different stages of evolution that you have gone through. And it can, but when it reveals you what animal you are, it can also bring about inherent all the inherent issues of that animal. It can bring the gifts as well as the shadows of that animal. Like for example, if it's a deer, right, then there is the gift is, the deer is always in search of this kasturi, which is this rare musk, so it is always seeking the highest essence. But on the other side, the deer is easily startled. It has this little fear that is there a predator lurking. It is always on a lookout. It's always, so there are all these things that come with it, that because it is a prey, it is not a predator. It has all those things that come with it. It has those fears that come with it. And you in that picture you will also see the dog and the jackal. And dog and jackal are very similar. One is domesticated and tamed, and then the jackal is not. So again, the moon will bring up things, your inner demons, I would say, which have been tamed and also that have not been tamed, come out. The other thing I've seen is that when people get this card, sometimes they are in the middle of a choice that they have to make. Two things are pulling them in different directions and they know which one to go. uh, the beautiful thing about the moon card is the moon card is naturally very appealing. There is charm available to the person who has got it. There is a magnetic pull that this person possesses. um, but the there is intuition this person uh, you know that this person has. There is psychic intuitions. There is, maybe this person can even discover their animal self, uh, or their animal gift. They can look at some of the past life sequence that has been repeating in their life. uh, and I said they have a magnetic pull. People are attracted, people are drawn to them. They have the ability to do that. They have the ability to write, to get very inspired, to catch people's imagination. So all these things are available. But there is also this thing that it will reflect your subconscious and unconscious. And the reason I say that a person who gets this card, they do not know complete information about the situation, is because that subconscious and unconscious that is coming up is going to hamper your observation. It is going to block your observation. So complete observation is not possible in this case. Now, having said all this, moon the crescent moon is there on the crown of Lord Shiva, of Mahadev, and that is where the moon, if it is centered in Shiva, in consciousness, when it is grounded in Shiva, in the silence of Shiva, that is when it is most effective. And that is what we need to seek to do. We need to I very often think of FFS. I think of, you feel those emotions completely, and then you go into Shavasana and meet Shiva. And that is how you can best live this card. Thank you.